Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie and today we are talking about 8 things that I no longer buy after becoming a busy working mom. I thought about also making a list of things I do buy now that I'm a working mom because it has changed a bit from where I was a stay-at-home mom. So if that's something you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments and I will work on that video. But for now, these are the things I no longer buy. The first thing is going to be trendy fast fashion. So this kind of covers both areas because I don't buy anything that's super trendy or just fast fashion in general because I want stuff that's gonna last. I want to be able to wear it for a while. I don't want to buy it and then have to replace it in 6 months or a year. I want to have it for at least a few years. Especially now that I have a working wardrobe, things like blazers and dress pants and dress shirts, I want that stuff to look nice and to hold up. So I no longer buy fast fashion for that reason. I don't want anything too trendy either because I don't want to have to replace it. So I might buy something that is somewhat on trend because that's what the stores tend to have, but I'm not going to buy any of those micro trends or things that are only going to last for like a season. I just try not to really pay attention to that. Similar to that is going to be excessive shoes. I used to buy so many shoes, but since I became a mom, I focus so much more on comfort because I have to be able to run around. My 5-year-old is so all over the place all the time and she loves being outside. So it is so important to me to have comfortable shoes. And same goes for work because a lot of times I like to take little walks before work starts when I get there early or just walk a little bit during lunch. So I like to have shoes where I'm able to walk for a bit without my feet killing me. So I tend to buy a smaller number of comfortable shoes instead of just buying a whole bunch of shoes just because they look cute. And this is another area where I want quality. I want them to hold up. And I recently made the mistake of buying these really cute loafers that I found on Amazon. And I'd had them before and they lasted probably a year, which isn't super, I mean, I guess that's okay for shoes, a year. So I went ahead and rebought them. I've only had them for maybe 2 or 3 months and they're already getting a hole in them. Like, do you know how much effort it takes to put a hole in shoes? It's so crazy. So I guess the quality just went down even more on those. So I learned my lesson and my next pair of loafers is going to be a good quality. So they'll actually last. The next thing on the list is too many toys. So I kind of learned this one the hard way because my daughter, as I mentioned, she loves being outside. She loves being active. All she wants to do is go to the park or the trampoline park or wherever. She doesn't usually like sitting and playing with toys, which I didn't find out until I bought her a lot of toys. So as she's been getting older, I did that more when she was a toddler, but as she's been getting older, I've kind of learned from that, and so I don't go overboard with toys. Also, her grandparents tend to buy her plenty of toys, especially on her birthday and Christmas, so they keep her supplied pretty well with toys. I tend to make sure I'm decluttering so she doesn't have too big of a collection where it's overwhelming for her, but I'm really careful about buying her extra stuff. The thing I tend to do is buy like more consumable stuff. So like a little art kit that she can do or like a painting set, like the ones they have at Target where it's a ceramic figure you can paint. She loves those things. Or I'll just buy her like some of those blank wood pieces like from Michael's or the Dollar Tree, just so she has something to paint. So that kind of stuff is a really big hit in our house. So she doesn't have a ton of toys, she just has something she can paint, hang up, be done with it. Also, a lot of times kids do better when they have less toys because if you're overwhelmed by how many toys your kids have, imagine how overwhelmed they feel just looking at all their toys, especially if they're unorganized. So it can actually really help your child to kind of narrow down their toy selection. It can help with their creativity, can keep them from feeling overwhelmed and anxious about their toys. So it's just a really good idea to keep up with that stuff. And if you don't have kids, you could kind of apply this to yourself, but replace toys with something like hobby supplies. I know for me, that's one that I tend to have too much of. So you can definitely apply that rule in other areas. Another thing I don't buy is frozen dinners. I used to buy these a lot, especially when I first went back to work and I was trying to juggle working and being a parent, especially after being a stay-at-home mom because I had all the time in the world to parent. But now that I'm working and I'm so busy and I have my schedule, I would just, grab frozen dinners, have that for lunch at work or for dinner, whatever it is. But the quality of those is not great. And I have a small selection because I have to eat gluten-free. So I either have to buy the super expensive gluten-free ones or find another brand. Like I know Lean Cuisine has a few that are just happen to not have wheat in them that I can eat. But I got tired of those pretty fast for one, and like I said, the quality isn't great, and they tend to not have a whole lot of protein, which is what I'm really looking for. So I tend to meal prep now. On Sunday, I will prep something, usually in the slow cooker. I will make just a big batch of something. Now that it's winter, I make a lot of soup, and I'll just take that for 3 or 4 days. And then on my final day, I'll use my meal credits and just get something in the cafeteria at work. So I just don't even bother with frozen dinners anymore. They tend to be pricey no matter what for what you're getting. I did actually keep some in the freezer in case I wanted to grab one, and they've been in there for a long time. I honestly don't even know if they're still good because I've really just stepped away from all of that. The next thing kind of comes with an asterisk because it's coffee shop drinks. This is one I never really did that often. I actually started doing it more once I got to work, and then I realized how much I was spending. So I just completely cut that out. And after I saw that 1 month I spent $120 on Starbucks when I don't even really like Starbucks, I decided to just completely cut that out. So I haven't spent anything on coffee shop drinks in months. And that's been a great way to save money, especially because it's not something I did before. Once I started doing it, it really cut into our expenses and I was spending a lot more. So now I just buy a bag of coffee and just take it in my tumbler. And I actually like my coffee better anyway, so it's a win-win. The next one is going to be trendy makeup or beauty products. I tend to not go overboard with beauty products and things like that. My makeup routine is just so simple. This is my everyday makeup routine. I use I don't know, 4 or 5 products. It's just so simple. So whenever I would try to branch out and get something that's more trendy or a brand that everyone's talking about, I just never like it. So I've learned my lesson and I don't do that anymore. And even with my beauty routine, I guess you could call it, I don't really have one, but I'll use a little bit of moisturizer if my skin looks dry, and that's really it. I don't even wash my face every day. I do use a makeup eraser to get rid of my makeup every night, but sometimes that's the most I do. Since I seem to do well with such a low maintenance beauty routine, I don't even try to branch out anymore because why add more products when I really don't need them? The next item is Salon Services. So since I am really busy, I tend to either cut my own hair, which I actually have a video for that, I'll link in the description, or I just go longer between haircuts. Another thing is that I used to get highlights done at least once a year, but since I've gone back to work, the last time I got them was like a year and a half ago. It's been a while. But a lot of that is because I'm too busy. In a lot of cases, it's not even the money. It's just something I'm too busy to do. And then it saves money also, so that's also a win-win. I do go to the salon a few times a year just to kind of clean everything up where I cut it myself. Any mistakes I've made or whatever, they'll clean it up. So that's nice, but I really have to plan ahead so that I can fit it into my schedule. Other things like waxing or manicures, pedicures, that kind of stuff. I've gotten one manicure in my entire life and I didn't like it. And someone else paid for it for my birthday. My husband paid for it for my birthday one year. And I just didn't like it. I was so bored while they were doing it because I couldn't use my hands. And I didn't really like how it turned out. So that's just something I don't spend money on at all. With waxing, I do occasionally get my eyebrows waxed, but it's been a while. And they're pretty blonde anyway, so it's not like it matters that much. I do have some sugar wax that I've used myself just to kind of clean things up. But for the most part, that's something I don't spend money on either. I know that a lot of moms will use that as kind of a way to relax and pamper themselves, and that's totally fine. It's just not something that I choose to do. I would much rather save a little extra money and go and get like a massage or something instead of like getting my nails done. The final thing on the list is something that we've recently cut back on, and that is streaming services. So since I do stay pretty busy, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. So a lot of our streaming services were more for our daughter, and we don't want her watching that much TV. So we ended up getting rid of a lot of them. I think we only have Hulu. My husband pays for Netflix. Yeah, we just have a couple. We used to have like all of them, and we dropped it down to 2. To be honest, Hulu is more for me, and then Netflix is more for my husband's sister, because she watches our daughter a lot, so we just pay for Netflix so she can have it. So we don't even watch it that much. But my daughter, her favorite thing is the PBS Kids app, and I have Amazon Prime anyway, so we do get Prime TV as part of that. So she'll watch that on her kid's Kindle sometimes. So she has plenty of free options for her that she likes. And like I said, we don't like her having that much screen time anyway. Times like this, it's a little rough because it's winter right now and it's so cold outside, and obviously none of her friends are at the park. She doesn't want to stay at the park very long because it's so cold. We don't want to stay at the park very long. So the outdoor activities are really limited. So right now is probably when she's watching the most TV, and she's been doing great with getting rid of some of our streaming services. So it's quite possible that you could get rid of some without missing them, even if you can't see that happening. Because I know with Disney Plus, we didn't think we would ever get rid of Disney Plus because of how much she loved all of her Disney movies. But we got rid of it and she doesn't even care. She might ask for something and we'll be like, oh, we don't have that anymore. And then she goes and finds something else. It's no big deal. So it's quite possible you could be saving money on that as well. You can always give it a try, pause it, whatever. So that is the list of things that I no longer spend money on after becoming a busy working mom. If there's anything I left out, let me know. Anything you want to add, that would be great, because I'm always looking for more ideas on how to save money. So if you have any tips, definitely tell me. So leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.